Welcome to the Lunchtime Broadcast, where we highlight the news making waves ranging from current affairs, community stories, sports and economic news. Here are the news headlines. Preliminary census results reveal an increase of Namibia's population to 3,022,401 citizens. Budget dialogue expected to decipher Namibia's economic landscape, and energy industry methane emissions rise close to record in 2023. I am Diana Master and this is NMH at 1. Midday News Update coming right up. In today's Midday News Update, Standard Bank Namibia will today host their annual budget dialogue. The dialogue is expected to decipher Namibia's 2024 national budget as well as the country's economic landscape and will feature high-profile speakers including Namibia's Finance Minister Ipumbushimi, Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board CEO Nangula Wanja, economist Salomo Hay and stakeholders from the Namibia Chamber of Commerce and Industry as well as the Namibia Revenue Agency. The discussion is set to kick off at 6:30 p.m. tonight and will be live streamed on the Standard Bank and Namibia Media Holdings platforms, as well as on network television, DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 25. Stick around, visual news highlights local stories from across Namibia right after the break. Stay with NMH at 1. And now getting into today's visual news clips. Namibia Statistics Agency today released the preliminary census results, which revealed that Namibia has just over 3 million citizens. Statistician General Alex Chimwafeni shared that Namibia's population stands at 3,022,401 citizens, which is higher than what the NSA had projected. Prime Minister Sarah Amadila has highlighted the need for updated statistics, saying it is crucial for planning, while Statistician General Chimwafeni stated that nearly 500,000 Namibians reside in the Commerce region. Here is the breakdown.
And then Commerce region, we are talking of almost 500,000 of people in Commerce. And Samora Machel constituency being the highest with 92,401 people. And then Katutura East, I'm actually from that constituency. We are the lowest at 22,940 in Commerce. And then Kunene region, that's the population 120,762 people. And Lepumba is the constituency with the most people, whereas Sesfontein is the lowest constituency population-wise. Wangwena region, 337,000 people, 729, with Enana being the most populated constituency of 35,304, while Omdangilo is at 15,009 people. And then Omaheke got 102,881 people, with Hobabas being the largest constituency in terms of population, and Epukiro 7,880 people. Umsati region has got 316,000 people, 671, where Otapi is most populated with 53,594.
Statistics is important in governance as it enables informed decision-making. In fact, it is said that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. The population and housing census, having been undertaken against the background of a difficult economic and thus public revenue situation, stands as a clear testimony of our government's commitment to ensuring availability of reliable data.
Now, the success of the government's 14 billion Namibian dollar Eurobond issued in 2015 and due for settling in 2025 seems to be problematic. Namibian Sun shares an update on this in the newspaper review segment after the break.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Thank you for staying with NMH at 1. We now take a look at what the lead stories are in Namibia's daily newspapers. Starting us off on the Namibian Sun front page, the success of government's 14 billion Namibian dollar Eurobond issued in 2015 and due for settling in 2025 has been questioned, but government insists the money was utilized to finance budget deficits. Namibian Sun understands that although the Eurobond was secured under instruction that it would not be used for consumption expenditures, this directive was breached. Finance Minister Ipumbushimi, during the tabling of his 2024-2025 financial budget recently announced that government would set aside 3.5 billion Namibian dollars and 2 billion Namibian dollars in anticipated Southern Africa Customs Union revenues to meet the 14 billion Namibian dollar debt obligation due next year. On the paper's page 3, Pastor Shivute Aipinge, who stands accused of raping a 15-year-old girl on multiple occasions, made a brief appearance in the Utapi Magistrates Court yesterday. Assistant Magistrate Selma Simon denied him bail due to the seriousness of the offence and postponed the matter to 17 June 2024 for further police investigations. Reading out the charges, State Prosecutor Astrid Hevik told the packed courtroom that Aipinge is accused of having raped the girl on 5 separate days. Moving over, Republican reports that no patient has ever been at the St. Mary's Hospital in Rehoboth died while they were waiting for treatment, according to the Minister of Health and Social Services, Dr. Kalumbi Shangula. However, 35 deaths have been recorded in the hospital's outpatient department in the past 5 years. According to the Minister, the latter are not classified as deaths on arrival, but persons who died while being cared for in a hospital environment. Shangula referred to a private patient who was at St. Mary's that was reported and was referred by a nurse to his private doctor's office because it was during office hours. On the paper's page 3, the Commissioner General of the Namibia Correctional Services, Raphael Hamunyela, confirmed that the convicted murderer Ernst Lichtenstrasse had given written notice of his planned hunger strike. He apparently insists on being held in a separate cell. Hamunyela says prisoners are kept in separate cells if they are studying, have an infectious disease, or there are security problems. Moving over to the Allgemeine Zeitung's front page, it is still the Ernst Joseph Lichtenstrasse trial, which has been adjourned since February, as still cannot be concluded. Lichtenstrasse, who has no legal representation, is on hunger strike again, is only awaiting the final verdict. A special application was rejected by the judge. That is what Allgemeine Zeitung opens with in today's publication. Police Commissioner Raphael Hamunyela from the prison service has confirmed that the convicted double murderer Ernst Joseph Lichtenstrasse had announced his hunger strike in writing and is apparently demanding to be placed in a separate cell. After 10 years, the Namibian-German bush control project has been successfully completed. It leaves behind an economically promising industry. After 10 years since its inception as a support to debushing project in 2014, the project was concluded under the name Bush Control and Biomass Utilization Project. This project played a crucial role in developing strategies and approaches to bush control and in strengthening the capacity of farmers and entrepreneurs to create value chains, said Timotheus Mfueti, Environmental Officer of the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism. Stick around after the break. We continue with our newspaper review segment and we start with what's leading in the Namibian newspaper.
Hi Sonia.
Hi Tufini. What are you reading?
I'm reading about the Child Care and Protection Act. In this pamphlet I got from school.
What's that?
It is Namibia's main law for the children and the issues affecting them. The act classifies here that a child is anyone under the age of 18 years. Check out some of the rights meant to protect you. For more information, contact the Children's Advocate.
For more information, contact the Children's Advocate Namibia in the Office of the Ombudsman on 061 20 73 111. Send us an SMS on 20401. SMS costs 40 cents. You can also send us a message via our Facebook page. Remember, the services of the Children's Advocate are free of charge.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraika. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news both on the WTA for women's and
Continuing right along with our newspaper review segment, the Namibian newspaper reports that Namibian pensioners are carrying the unemployed financially, zooming in on a 67-year-old pensioner whose monthly old age grant is gone within hours of receiving it. This is because the 1,400 Namibian dollar pension fund is used to take care of 14 members of his household and is split between rent, food and other essential items for his family. Prime Minister Sarah Madila says she has no reason to doubt the authenticity of a speech she delivered on behalf of founding President Sam Nujoma at SWAPO's Central Committee meeting on Saturday. The speech endorsed Vice President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah as the ruling party's sole candidate for this year's elections, slated for the 27th of November. Controversy erupted after Madila read the speech, with some CC members questioning its authenticity, including Peter Matile, a former executive director in former President Hifikepunye Pohamba's administration, who on Monday said the speech bypassed and violated SWAPO's constitution. Moving over to the new era, a new report by UNICEF has amplified a myriad of challenges faced by children living in Namibia, like a lack of access to early childhood development and missing routine immunization. The same report by the United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund also delves into the avalanche of opportunities, including access to education, social safety nets, and healthcare benefits available to the Namibian child. In essence, the report by UNICEF's Namibia Social Policy Manager, Jacob Nyamadzao, provides a close analysis on the state of children in Namibia. Now, according to New Era's page 3, Acting High Court Judge Moses Chinengo, who was appointed to deal with the fish rod case, yesterday refused to recuse himself from the matter for alleged bias. Fish rod minnow Nigel van Wyk brought an application for the judge to recuse himself after the judge refused to grant a postponement for unrepresented accused to secure legal representation and force them to enter pleas. When the accused refused to plead to the charges against them, the judge entered not guilty pleas on their behalf. Chinengo said the allegations of van Wyk have no merit as they failed to establish a basis for bias on his behalf. According to him, the accused has been in custody for the past 4 years, with the start of the trial nowhere in sight. And finally, in Market Watch, in a bid to bolster social protection and address inequality, Namibia has announced a significant increase in its budget allocation for the fiscal year 2024-2025. The allocated budget stands at 8 billion Namibian dollars, marking a substantial 23.2% increase compared to the previous year's budget. This surge in allocation primarily targets current and social transfers, with a keen focus on expanding the value and coverage of social grants. Notably, Namibia's social protection spending ranks among the highest in the Eastern and Southern Africa region, UNICEF told members of parliament in its recent budget analysis and advocacy workshop. In economic news after the break, we'll zoom in on the Air Connect Namibia project aimed at reimagining the aviation sector. Stay tuned. In today's economic news, the Air Connect Namibia project has been launched with the aim of reimagining the aviation sector and developing new markets for Namibia. A memorandum of understanding on the Air Connect Namibia project was signed yesterday. The agreement was signed by Namibia Airports Company, the City of Windhoek, the Walvis Bay Corridor Group, Gondwana Collection, the Namibia Tourism Board, the Namibia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board. Better Access NAC CEO Busy Uirab said the purpose of the project is to increase direct air access in and out of Namibia to the rest of the world, particularly via its international airports, with an initial focus on the Hosea Kutako International Airport. He said the project aims to improve the country's competitiveness and support growth sectors, making it a stronger tourism and business location for foreign direct investment, stimulating economic growth and creating jobs. Now let's take a look at the economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 23.83 against the British pound, 20.39 against the euro, 18.67 to the US dollar, and 2 Namibian dollars and 60 cents buys you 1 Chinese yuan. First Rand Namibia Limited stocks took a dip of 0.50%, while Itego Holdings and Namibia Breweries Limited stocks took upturns of 2.50 and 0.03% respectively. Local index closed on an upturn of 0.12%, while overall index closed on a dip of 0.05%. All commodities are up, with gold taking an upturn of 0.18%, now trading at $2,160.87 per ounce. We now expand beyond Namibia's borders to give you the latest news from the African continent here on NMH at 1. A top civil servant in Kenya's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has told the BBC that the planned deployment of police to Haiti is now on hold following the announcement by Haiti's Prime Minister Ariel Henry that he would be stepping down. Kore Sengwe, Principal Secretary for Foreign Affairs, said without a political administration in Haiti, there was no anchor on which the deployment can rest. Mr. Sengwe added that Kenya will wait for the installation of a new constitutional authority before further decisions are made. Last year, Kenya pledged to deploy around 1,000 police officers to Haiti as part of an international force in a bid to combat the gang violence. Stick around. Right after this, we bring you international news, and shortly after, sports news. In international news, methane emissions from the energy sector approached record highs last year, the International Energy Agency warned. In a report released on Wednesday, the global watchdog said the fossil fuel industry's emission of the potent greenhouse gas, responsible for about 30% of global warming, reached more than 120 million metric tons in 2023. That put emissions close to the record set in 2019, despite the sector having promised to use freely available technology to reduce their levels. Despite pledges made by the oil and gas industry to bring down large-scale emission spikes by plugging infrastructure leaks, they jumped by 50% last year compared to 2022. One disastrous well blowout in Kazakhstan, recorded by satellites, lasted more than 200 days. The increase also came despite the availability of technology capable of curbing pollution at virtually no cost, said the Paris-based agency. Right after this, we get into our local and international sports news. Stay tuned.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
In local sports news this afternoon, 14-year-old youngster Mike Bartman surprised a friend and foe by winning a sprint finish and earning the gold medal for last Sunday's Cape Town Cycle Tour's shorter race of 42 kilometers. The 42-kilometer race, open to riders of all ages, started off in Cape Town and followed a route reaching the Muizenberg turnoff, including a number of climbs on the way to passing the Groot Schuur Hospital and finishing on another uphill in Strand Street in the city centre. Mike Jr., who represents Windhoek Gymnasium in the FNB Schools Mountain Bike League, achieved the winning time of 1 hour 18 minutes and 35 seconds in Cape Town after working hard to beat two South African youngsters, Andre Smit and Catalina Lammers, who both finished 2 seconds later. The Windhoek Golf Club hosted the prestigious 2024 Abin Bev Central Open last weekend, won by Namibia's #1 ranked amateur Likias Nande by 6 shots ahead of Stefanos Bonifacius. Players in the A and B divisions played 54 holes over 2 days, whereas the C and Sub 4 divisions only played 36 holes, 18 per day. 76 players participated in total, 20 each in the A and B divisions respectively, 26 in the C division and 10 in the Sub 4 division. Right after this, we bring you international sports news. David Raya was the hero of Arsenal when Arsenal beat Porto 4-2 on penalties on Tuesday to reach the Champions League quarterfinals for the first time since 2010. The teams were locked at 1-1 on aggregate after an absorbing second leg at the Emirates, but Raya saved twice in the shootout to break the hearts of the two-time champions. The goalkeeper pulled off a brilliant save to deny Wendell and repeated the feat against Galeno, while the home side converted all 4 of their penalties. In tennis, Carlos Alcaraz beat Fabian Marozsan to avenge his loss at the Italian Open last year, while Jannik Sinner won his 18th straight match as both players cruised into the Indian Wells quarterfinals with straight sets victories on Tuesday. Alcaraz never looked in any trouble against Marozsan, pounding forehands and confidently holding serve to take another step towards defending his title in the California desert with a 6-3, 6-3 win. A cross-court forehand on match point sealed the victory for the second-seed Spaniard, who nodded to his team and yelled "Vamos!" Marozsan was a qualifier when he stunned Alcaraz in straight sets in Rome last May, but the world number 2 turned the tables under sunny skies on centre court with a clinical performance. If you're just joining us, this is NMH at 1, and we'll get into the highlights from today's broadcast right after this. For those of you that are just joining us, or for those of you that need a quick recap, let's take a look at the highlights from today's broadcast. In African news, Kenya's planned deployment of police to Haiti is now on hold following the announcement of Haiti's Prime Minister Ariel Henry that he would be stepping down. In international news, methane emissions from the energy sector approached record highs last year, the International Energy Agency warned. And in local sports news, 14-year-old youngster Mike Bartman surprised a friend and foe by winning a sprint finish and earning the gold medal for last Sunday's Cape Town Cycle Tour's shorter race of 42 kilometers. Do remember that NMH at 1 streams live every weekday at 1 p.m, sharing the latest news in Namibia and beyond. From all of us here in studio, we do wish you a lovely Wednesday ahead.